My name is Alessandro Donati from the Zone Creative company in Arezzo. I present the machine called Spiralatrice, which is capable of creating various spiral shapes with wire of various materials such as silver, gold, brass, etc. and through the use of PLC software, of which I will show you the operation. The spiral maker comprises a mechanical part and a software part. The mechanical part is composed of motor M2, which has the function of pulling the wire, motor M1, which has the function of folding the wire, a wire straightener, and a wire cutting group with knives. Two rollers, one metal and one plastic, which will be changed when we need to change the wire diameter. Let me explain the mounting of the equipment. First of all, we start from the premise that the folding head doesn't need to be adjusted, even when we change the wire size. Therefore, the only equipment that we need to change are the grommet and the rollers of the traction motor. Let's insert the rollers. First the metal one, then the plastic one. Both must be blocked with the appropriate screws. As you can see, when we try to tighten them, we make this movement which prevents us from blocking them. What do we do in this case?
Questo movimento che mi impedisce di bloccare queste. Cosa devo fare?
The rollers must be closed with the appropriate knob up to the correct pressure so that we can block them without problems.
Quando vogliamo cambiare misura di filo, abbiamo la necessità di cambiare.
Loosen the pressure of the rollers. We cut the wire used previously and
come facciamo? Allentiamo la pressione leggermente delle rotelle, tagliamo il filo che precedentemente avevamo.
with the first wrench, we loosen the screws of the first roller. We also loosen the second roller. Finally, the third screw, that of the grommet.
Una, due,
Each piece of equipment is marked with its wire diameter. Once you have inserted the wire in the specific guide hole, the rollers must be closed with the knob till they reach the correct pressure. You must move the wire forward till it reaches the exact position at the folding head. We must always remember to turn the head towards the left. At this point, we turn on the machine.
Accendiamo la macchina.
Once turned on, we wait for the home page to open automatically. We press the 0 key, then menu, test and set motor, M2 JOG+, and we bring the wire to the correct position. Home page. The home page comprises the window where we can see the number of the program that is in use at present. The piece counter, on which we will set the pieces that we want to make. In the Cut Every window, we must set the number of balls after which we wish to make the cut, while, with the button shown below, we can activate or deactivate the cutting. In this case, cutting is deactivated. The 0+ button has the function of returning the head to its point of origin. Through the Test Cut button, we verify if there is pressure inside the machine to activate the cutting knives group. With the Cycle On button, we activate the machine while the Off button stops it. At the top, we see the menu and the Alarms button. Let's now access the menu of the machine, which is divided like this. Spirals has the function of programming the shape. Parameters has the functions for expert users, therefore it should never be used. Set and Test Motor allows us to manually move the two motors M1 and M2. Recipes has the function of loading and saving the programs. Alarms allows us to see the type of machine alarms. English, Italiano, allows us to change the software language. Info allows us to see the software version installed. Let's go to Recipes. The machine furnishes 28 already programmed in memory. Which we can see with the button located below. Those from 0 to 28 are in the machine memory. It is possible to save up to a maximum of 99 recipes. How do we load and save them? With the up arrow and down arrow buttons, we select the recipe, for example SF02, and we press the load button and verify if it has been loaded in the correct fashion. With the Save button, we memorize the recipe. If it is overwritten, a message window appears requesting if we want to continue or cancel the overwriting. In this case, we press Yes to overwrite. With the button User SD, we access the external memory where it is possible to save up to 6,000 recipes. Alarms. Let's go to Alarms.
Andiamo a visualizzare gli eventuali allarmi che ci possono essere della macchina.
Emergency OK, we press the red button to verify if it works.
E indichiamo il tasto rosso con il quale controlliamo l'emergenza.
Wire OK, the machine stops by itself as soon as the wire is finished. And this is its indication. Program OK, if the program has wrong values, the machine stops automatically. Info. This option shows us the software version installed.
Attualmente la versione 16.02/2016, ma in futuro possiamo aggiornare questo software tramite la speciale SD card.
Set and test motor.
Attraverso il pulsante Set Test Motor abbiamo le
This option contains the settings of our motors M1 and M2. All the values visualized in this page should never be changed for any reason. Otherwise, the machine will not operate correctly. The buttons JOG Plus and JOG Minus of motor M2 move the wire forward with plus and backwards with minus. With the button JOG Plus and JOG Minus in M1, we operate manually on the folding angle, increasing or decreasing it. One must always remember that once this operation is finished, one must press the 0 button until the head returns to the correct position. Finally, with the option Go Quota, it is possible to set an exact folding angle, for example 30 degrees. And by repressing on Go Quota, we will see the head position itself at the set angle. The option that we will use more frequently will be JOG Plus in M2. Parameters. With parameters, we access the multiplier between impulse and step. The values that we see must never be modified except in rare cases. In fact, it is all protected by a password. Spirals. This page allows us to create or modify the various spiral shapes. First of all, we load a recipe. For example, SF03. At this point, we can access our spirals option. This page is divided into 10 columns. Spiral, start M1 motor degrees, finish M1 motor degrees, M1 folding speed, M2 minimum wire advancement speed, M2 maximum wire advancement speed, M1 starting time seconds, M1 finish time seconds, middle point cycles. To create a shape, we need to set some values in our 10 columns, starting from the row 0. Each row corresponds to a shape. In the first page, we have 5. And with the up arrow on the right, we access the second page with another 5 rows. This means that the program allows us to create up to 10 different shapes, one different from the other, in one single program. Let's analyze the various programming columns. In the spiral field, we can create or a full sphere by entering 1, or create a semi-sphere by entering the value 0. In the fields Start M1 and Finish M1, we can set the size of the shape. The values that can be set go from a minimum of 80 degrees, which is the smallest part of the shape, to a maximum of 10 degrees, which is the largest part. It is important that the value in the starting field be greater than the one in the finish, because the machine always starts from the smallest diameter.
Parte sempre dal diametro più piccolo. Il diametro più piccolo quindi è un grado maggiore.
In the folding speed field M1 percentage, we set the folding speed of our wire. In this case, we have set a value of 5% of the maximum speed already set at 1000 Hz.
Vado al 5% di 1000.
Through the button Minimum Wire Advance Speed M2%, we set the minimum speed of our wire. In this case, 10% of 2000 Hz, because this is our maximum speed. By changing the percentages of wire folding speed M1 and minimum maximum wire advance speed M2, we will be able to create various shapes. In the field starting time seconds, we set a time expressed in seconds in the starting degree M1. Example, I insert 3 seconds. The machine stays still for 3 seconds in the folding of 90 degrees. This pause allows us to create a straight spiral in the smallest part. Vice versa, in the field finish time seconds, by setting 3 seconds, once we have reached the folding of 10 degrees in the large diameter, we will create a straight spiral. The seconds go from 0 to 100. The middle point is an advanced option only for expert users. The values that can be set are those from 0 to 100. In the field cycles, we must set the number of repetitions of the line we have just set. With the value 0, the line doesn't work. With value 1, it repeats the line once. With value 5, it repeats 5 times, and so on up to a maximum equal to a value of 99. Starting from this page, I recall an already saved program and I load it. In this case, SF01. It is our program. Let's check the set data. Spiral value 1, complete ball. Start 80 degrees. Finish 35 degrees. Folding speed 15% of 1000 Hz. Minimum wire feeder speed 10% of 2000 Hz. Starting time 0 seconds. Finish time 0 seconds. Middle point 0, cycles 1. Let's now see our program in the machine. We have a starting angle of 80 degrees. The head reaches the angle of 35 degrees and then returns to 80 degrees. I reduce the folding speed in percentage by entering 5. Therefore, using a lower speed, we will have a more elongated shape. If instead I increase it to 25%, I will obtain a more compact shape. Let's see our shapes obtained by starting with the value of 15%, then going to 5% and finishing with a 25%. We have the same effect by changing the wire feeder speed of M2. In analyzing the program, we see that the machine starts at the maximum speed of 2000 Hz to reach the minimum of 5% of 2000 Hz. This speed scale, which we change, determines the amount of lengthening of the shapes. In the feeder roller, we have a wire speed that is subjected to acceleration in the larger diameter of 2000 Hz and a deceleration up to 5% in the smaller diameter.
del 5%. Se noi vediamo la rotella di traino, vediamo che subisce un incremento di velocità per poi decelerare.
In the field starting time, we will enter a pause, for example, of 5 seconds.
Forma ad inserire una pausa di 5 secondi.
When we reach 80 degrees, the machine will then have a pause of 5 seconds. Therefore, a straight spiral between one sphere and the other, which can help us when we want to individually cut our spirals. At this point, we enter a time in the finish time field of 5 seconds. We will have, in the larger diameter of our sphere, a straight spiral equal to 5 seconds. Now let's analyze motor ramp M1 plus and M1 minus. If we want to make a symmetric shape, the two values must be the same. When instead our shape is not homogeneous, we must change a value of one of the two ramps.
L'importante è che uno dei due sia leggermente differente dall'altro.
For example, let's substitute 7,000 with 1,500. Then we press in sequence 0 plus, off, on. We can see that we have a sharper deceleration with reference to the folding acceleration. Therefore, the ramp of 1,500 guarantees a very sharp deceleration. While the ramp of 7,000 will be much softer. The values that can be set in this field vary from 1,000 to 8,000. Example 2. If we want to combine within the same program two or more different shapes, we will compile the line following the inserted one. Let's set the value 1 because we want a complete shape. Start angle of 80 degrees. Finish angle 36 degrees. Folding speed 5%.
Il che mi consente di avere una forma più allungata rispetto a quella precedente.
maximum wire feeder speed 2000 Hz, minimum at 10%.
Velocità 2000 Hz, minimo velocità 10%.
Starting time 0, finish time 1, cycles 1. The program is ready. We press in sequence 0 plus, off, on. As we can see in this case, the machine builds two different shapes.
Possiamo arrivare
We can insert 10 different shapes into the same program.
a 10 differenti forme nello stesso sistema di programmazione. Tornando al campo
Let's go back to the piece counter field.
di quantità,
If we set the value to 0, the machine will produce an unlimited number of spheres.
per resettare il contatore, la macchina automaticamente inizierà a produrre le nostre palline senza alcun limite. Mentre invece se io voglio ottenere 5 ripetizioni dovrò
If instead we set 5 repetitions, the machine will stop after 5 repetitions.
A questo punto la macchina automaticamente si fermerà a 5 particolari.
If we want to stop the machine before the set amount is reached,
Deve aver raggiunto la quantità desiderata
it is possible to do so when the folding head is at the maximum angle,
è al massimo dei suoi
i.e. 80 degrees. It is at this point that the machine must be stopped. Once you have pressed the off button, you must then press 0 plus before restarting the program. In this way, the head returns to its original starting point.
Una volta trovati i nostri valori
Once we have found the values that allow us to create the desired shape, we save the program. From the Spirals menu, we access the Save window with this button. We must enter the program number of the set menu, 29 for example.
29. Come vedete,
An empty description row appears above, and this proves that all is ready to be saved. In the yellow line, we must manually enter the name of the recipe. For example, SF29. And then we press the Enter button to confirm. At this point, we must select Save.
il disco di carica programma, perché con questo tasto qua voi perderete tutte le impostazioni che avete creato precedentemente. Una volta visualizzato SF29 anche nella finestra di colore viola, siete sicuri che il programma è salvato in maniera corretta.
Wire hardness.
I programmi che sono in memoria della macchina
The memorized programs have been created with a very hard bronze wire with a diameter of 0.5 millimeter thickness.
0,50. Chiaramente può succedere che al momento che voi
If you use a material with a different hardness, the program must be modified.
leggermente differente rispetto a quella che ho usato io, il programma o i
Now we will see how.
In specifico andremo a amplificare.
For example, let's load the recipe SF09, which has been made with a very hard wire, and we control the difference by using a lower hardness.
E ora controlliamo usando il filo di bronzo molto morbido quale differenza avremo.
We press 0 plus off and on. The program SF09 contemplates the manufacture of this shape, but by using a softer wire, we will obtain a different shape. Therefore, in order to obtain the original shape with the softer wire, we must change exclusively the arrival angle of motor M1 by increasing it.
Il grado di arrivo del motore M1. Quindi da 28 andremo
From 28 degrees, we increase the angle to 35 degrees, thus obtaining the shape foreseen in the original program. We then press 0 plus, off, on for a final control. Example 3. Let's analyze the spiral option with a value 0 or 1 on different rows. Remembering what we said before, with value 1 complete sphere and with 0 a semisphere,
una pagina completa, mentre invece con 0 otteniamo solamente la metà della pallina. Quindi andrò a caricare
I will load program SF17, which has in line 0 the following values.
17 e andremo ad analizzare quello che è il nostro programma. Il nostro programma parte
Spiral 0.
quindi la riga 0 si fermerà a metà pallina. Partenza
Start M1 80 degrees. Finish 1 38 degrees. While in line 1, spiral 1, start 38 degrees, finish 60 degrees, and return to 38 degrees. To close the program, line 2 will be set as follows. Spiral 0, start 38 degrees, finish 80 degrees. The machine, finding in line 3 all the values at 0, will automatically return to the starting point, which is at line 0 degrees. Start 80 degrees, finish 38 degrees. Then line 1, 38 degrees, 60 degrees, 38 degrees.
Avrai il compito di fare 38, 60, 38, perché abbiamo il valore 1.
Line 2 closes the program with 0 from 38 degrees to 80 degrees. This is our semisphere. And then we will have the full sphere with, at the center, 5 seconds pause.
Pallina che è questa, la seguente, dove abbiamo al centro 5 secondi di attesa che abbiamo inserito precedentemente e
The other semisphere closes.
nella figura abbiamo l'altra metà della pallina da qui a qua.
Cutting option. We now pass to the cutting settings.
Come avviene? Innanzitutto bisogna selezionare un numero
We must enter the minimum number of pieces which will allow us to reach the knife height.
all'altezza dei coltelli. Quindi, ad esempio,
For example, 10.
reset per resettare il contatore.
Then we must press cycle on. Once we reach the number of pieces set, the machine stops.
Una volta ottenuto 10 cicli di lavorazione,
Through the specific screw, we find the correct knife position at the center of the two spheres.
cercheremo di andare a posizionare il nostro taglio nel centro delle due.
And we press the test cut button to verify the exact position.
Adesso vi spiego
Now let's see how to activate cutting by using one of our memorized programs. We load the recipe SF01, in this case a sphere.
che è una semplicissima pagina. Andrò ad impostare la quantità
We set the amount of spheres, for example 10, From the home page, we activate the cut.
ad attivare il taglio. Una volta attivato il taglio, andremo a scegliere
Select the number of cuts for each operation cycle.
di lavorazione. Esempio, se noi selezioniamo
Having activated the cut, if we enter in cut every the value 1, the machine will cut the sphere row in 10 single spheres.
se io qui andrò
By setting the value 2 instead, the machine will cut for 10 cuts a sequence of 2 coupled spheres. By entering 4, the machine will repeat 10 cuts with a sequence of 4 coupled spheres.
una sequenza di 4 palline. 3. Alla prossima pallina avverrà il taglio. Premetto che
When we reduce or increase the diameter of the sphere, we must change the height of the knives.
della nostra pallina bisogna regolare l'altezza dei nostri coltelli. In questo caso
At this moment, the position is correct because the sphere is at the center of our knives. But if the sphere has a larger diameter, we must lower this entire group through this registration screw.
necessità di abbassare tutto questo gruppo verso il basso, come con l'apposita vite posizionata alla nostra sinistra possiamo diminuire o incrementare la nostra altezza.
Through a special utensil called a spoon, we can increase or diminish the gap between one wire and the other.
In questo momento
At this moment, the spoon is not being used but by turning the appropriate screw towards the left, we will increase the distance. Towards the right instead, we reduce the gap.
Fessure tra una maglia e l'altra.
The spiraling machine is capable of operating with wires having a minimum diameter of 0.4 millimeters to a maximum of 1 millimeter. The maximum size of the sphere changes on the basis of the diameter of the wire. For example, wire diameter 0.4, minimum size of the sphere 3 millimeters, up to a maximum one of 7 to 8 millimeter diameter. By increasing the size of the wire up to 0.6, the minimum size of the sphere is 3.5 millimeters up to a maximum of 12 millimeters. The machine does not require any kind of specific maintenance except for the normal wear of the plastic roller.